everyone, so this is going to be a tutorial today on a Lana Del Rey look, and this is going to be the makeup that is inspired by what is on her album cover. So if you see me keep glancing over, it's because I have the picture open on my computer and I'm looking at it for reference. If you haven't heard of Lana Del Rey, you need to check her out. She is a musician, singer-songwriter kind of person who just has a very, very beautiful, like, sultry voice. It's definitely very unique, not really like anything I've heard in a while. And her style is like a mixture of sort of like pop and like strings and like a classic 70s feel. She's really, really cool and she's definitely someone to watch. I'm also doing this video sort of in like a collaboration with Julia, missjbm. I forgot there's a number at the end of her name, which I should probably know, but I don't, so sorry, Julia. But we are both going to be releasing a video doing separate Lana Del Rey looks today in celebration of the album release. I'll put her information below. I'll put her Twitter and her YouTube so you guys can go check her out. She is really, really talented and she does these really cool, like, interesting tutorials. And actually how I found hers, because I was looking for makeup inspired by nebulas, and hers was like one of like 3 videos that were on all of YouTube that did a nebula look, so that's how I discovered her. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to put a picture on the blog as well as pictures of my look and pictures of the album cover, because I can't put them in the video since copyright and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I actually sprayed my face with some Fix Plus, so that sort of gives me like a refreshed almost kind of base, and I think adding a primer might be a little redundant. But I'm going to be using L'Oreal True Match today, and this has a sunscreen SPF, and she is outside on the album cover, so SPF would be a good idea. But this has a really nice coverage and her skin looks pretty flawless. I mean, she looks almost like a doll. It doesn't look like she's wearing a lot of makeup. It just looks like she has really pretty, even skin. So I'm going to use this foundation with a buffing brush. I'm going to be using the Real Techniques buffing brush. These together will give me a really nice sort of airbrushed look. So now I'm going to spray my Real Techniques buffing brush with some Fix Plus, just a little bit, to kind of dampen the brush, if you will, just because it helps the foundation glide on a little bit easier, I find. And I'm just going to start buffing this in. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. A lot of people say to start at the center of your face and work out, because that's where you need the most coverage. No, my cheeks need the most coverage, so I'm just going to do it however. So I'm just going to buff this in, blend it down into my neck and on to my ears, and then we'll go from there. So like I said, I found Julia on YouTube when I was looking for nebula inspired makeup, and I know there was a Claire de Lis, I think that's how you say her name. There's a tutorial that she did which was really nice, but I liked Julia's because it was more sort of grungy and dark, and it looked like, you know, it was a lot of color, but it was also a lot of black, and it was really layered and textured, and I just really liked the look of it. And I think it was when she had recently cut her hair short, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, so pardon me. But after that, I just thought she was really talented, and I watched some of her other videos, and I thought she was really cool. And, you know, obviously anyone who shaves the side of their head automatically becomes awesome in my book. I mean, I had that haircut, similar haircut, a couple years ago, you know, and it's a big change, so I was like, well, obviously this is a cool person that's going to shave their hair, especially girls who do that, because, I mean, there's really no turning back after that. She's very sweet. Like, we sort of talk on Twitter, and she comments on some of my videos, and I comment on some of hers, and it's just this really cool kind of thing. That's my favorite part about the YouTube community, is sort of just, you know, the networking that you can get and the friends that you can make, and, you know, artists that you can admire. So now I'm just going to conceal in little places that need concealing, obviously. There's some spots and stuff like that. I just sort of want to get a pretty much flawless base. I mean, I don't look good with like a lot of makeup on, so I'm just going to concentrate the concealer on areas that it needs to go, but I'm not going to, you know, use a full coverage foundation all over my entire face, just because I think it looks bad on me. But obviously, again, do whatever you want. So that is what the foundation and concealer looks like. Now I'm just going to go in with a big fluffy brush and some pressed powder. I'm going to use Maybelline Fit Me, because I really like the finish of it. And I'm just going to set the whole face because she doesn't appear to have like a lot of luminosity on her face. I mean, there's some slight highlight, which I will go in with some highlighting powder and do that in a second, but for the most part her skin just looks pretty matte. Now for the cheeks. She looks like she just has a slight bit of like a contour going on her cheek, like the hollows of her cheeks, and she looks like she just has a little bit of like peach blush towards the back of her cheeks that's not really focused on the apples. So I'm going to use Life's a Peach blush from Sleek, and this is a really pretty matte peach color, and I'm just going to go in with a blush brush, and I'm going to kind of concentrate this sort of like the middle of the cheek and back, and I'm going to kind of concentrate it more on the cheekbone. So just like right here looks like is where she has her blush. It's a really pretty matte peach color as far as I can tell too. Now I'm just going to go in with a Real Techniques contour brush and some Benefit Hoola, this is a small size, or just really any matte bronzer slash contour type of product. And I'm going to just put this in the hollows of the cheeks and blend it into the blush. Not very much of it at all, it's just to sort of define the face because she definitely appears to have a little bit of definition, but it's not really anything like, bam, I'm Lana Del Rey and look at my cheekbones, you know what I mean? So, alrighty, and then for highlight, I'm just going to take a little bit of the Dior Amber Diamond and actually just like a stippling brush, I don't know, anything like this. Just get a little bit of the powder, and then this is just going to go, she's got it on the tops of her cheekbones just a little bit, just sort of like some very subtle highlight. Now my brows are a lot thicker than hers, so I mean there's not much I can do about that because I don't really want to like cover them up with glue or anything like that. But what I'm going to do is, her brows are really soft looking, so I'm just going to take the powder side of this e.l.f. brow kit with a 239 brush. I'm just going to take the flat end of it, like the top of the brush, and I'm just going to sort of softly run this through my brows just to add a little bit of shape, but without it looking like they're really drawn on. Okay guys, now moving on to the eyes, I'm going to take a little bit of Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I'm just going to use this all over the lids. And the shadows that we're working with today are pretty much matte. There's not really any shimmery eyeshadows that I can see in the look itself. And it's just a pretty basic like color on the lid with something in the crease, and then she's got a little bit of liner and false lashes, so it's not by any means like a very complex or difficult look to achieve, but you want to make sure that you stick with matte shadows because that's what she has, and they tend to photograph a little bit better, in my experience. But I'm going to start with the skin tone color, which this is Matte 330, and I'm just going to take a basic eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to pat this all over my lid. Just going to run a little bit of this under the brow as well, just to kind of lift everything a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with a 226 brush because it has a little bit of a point so I can get more of a defined crease. And I'm going to be using Inglot Matte, I need to get these numbers going the right way, Matte 342, which is a gray tone brown. It looks just like a slightly darker version of Omega by MAC, so if you have Omega, that could be a good one to use. But I'm just going to put this in the crease. It's sort of almost like a cut crease kind of look, because she definitely has more of a defined crease, but I'm just going to sort of like define it and then blend upwards. And obviously Lana Del Rey's eye shape is a lot different than mine. I have sort of like a drooping, like double lid almost. And she has a very defined crease, like she, you can see her lid and her crease at the same time. You can only see, well, nothing really on my eyes. But I'm just going to sort of like fake it with this by, sort of defining it a little bit higher than my natural crease. So that's something maybe you guys keep in mind if you have the same problem. Just sort of draw your crease in where it shows when your eyes are open, so that way it looks like you have a crease color in. This is optional, but I'm going to go in with just a little touch of this gray, which is Matte 339. It's just a sort of basic storm gray. I'm just going to put this right at the base of that crease color, just for a slight bit more definition. I don't want to use a black or a dark brown because that just looks a little off. This gray just sort of works the gray tones in the brown. And then I'm just going to blend those two together with a 217. Alrighty guys, so now it's time for a liner, and as far as I can tell, it looks almost like it's a gray liner. It could be black then in its photographing gray, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with the gray because I want an excuse to use this NARS eyeliner because I really love it. So I'm going to be using Madison Avenue, which is a pretty matte charcoal-ish, not really charcoal, but more like slate gray. And what I'm going to do is just line this all the way across the eye, and then I'm going to wing it up a little bit on the end, sort of so it slightly connects to where the crease color is, but obviously not like directly connecting. Well, you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to draw this fairly thin all the way across. Just going to start initially really close to the lashes and then build up if I need to. Alright guys, so now I'm going to take that same 239 I used for my brows and that brown shadow I used in my crease, and I'm just going to softly run this on the lower lash line for a bit of definition. You could use gray as well, but I'm going to just use the brown and keep it really soft. And then it just looks like she has a bit of that same liner sort of along the lash line on the outer half of the eye. So I'm going to, if I can find it, just take that liner and I'm just going to softly run this along the lashes. So now I'm going to put on some of these demi-wispy lashes as one falls down, and then I will be back to do the lips with you guys. So now you have your finished Lana Del Rey look. Is it 100% exact? Nope. But is it close? I think so. So I'm going to have pictures on the blog of this look, as well as pictures of the actual album cover, as well as Julia's links below, so be sure to check her video out for her Lana Del Rey look because it's going to be fabulous. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoy Lana's album. And until my next video, I'll talk to all you guys soon. Bye!